Welcome back, everyone. Today we're opening up a highly sensitive, absolutely crucial cosmic security briefing regarding the ultimate upgrade of the human physical vessel. Look, if you've been tracking the transition into 5D light bodies, you already know that armoring your divine blueprint isn't just some nice theory, it is a literal, active, daily necessity. We've got incredibly fascinating data from the source material to go through today, detailing exactly how cosmic shields are actively protecting our DNA from all the worldly disruptions happening around us. I'm super excited to guide you through this explainer because honestly, understanding the mechanics of this shift, it changes absolutely everything about how we operate on a daily basis.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Our briefing today is structured precisely to map out this entire process. We're going to start with the 3D disruption threat, then enter the realm of Shield Master Cassiel. From there, we'll cover active blueprint protection, moving smoothly right into the timeline for the April 2035 cosmic shift. And finally, we'll wrap up with your initial synchronization test. It's a packed, high-stakes agenda, so let's just get right to it.
Section 1, the 3D disruption threat. Before we can even begin to understand the armor, we have to deeply understand the vulnerability. We're talking about the immediate stakes surrounding our cellular matrix right now. So right now, we are all currently operating within a legacy 3D vessel. And let's be real, it's highly susceptible to daily disruptions. Think about ambient noise, psychic friction, and severe stress anomalies. This old world is basically bleeding into our biology. The psychic friction alone from our day-to-day interactions creates this incredibly heavy drag on our systems. Now, the target state we're evolving toward is the 5D light body. This requires a fully upgraded 12-strand DNA architecture and a perfectly pristine cellular matrix. The sheer contrast between these two states is massive. It highlights just how sensitive our current forms really are. When you're attempting a massive evolutionary leap like this, everyday ambient stress isn't just annoying. Actually, scratch that, it's more like an architectural hazard to the cellular structure that is desperately trying to upgrade itself.
Which leads us to the ultimate pressing question, right? How do we protect the cellular matrix from these immediate 3D disruptions? If our whole goal is to maintain a pristine 12-strand DNA architecture, how on earth do we prevent these heavy old-world anomalies from corrupting the core genetic template during such an incredibly sensitive transition period? I mean, it's a logistical nightmare for our biology. You can't just hit pause on the world while you upgrade. You have to somehow evolve while walking right through the noise. So, a highly specialized defense is required.
And that brings us to Section 2, enter Shieldmaster Cassiel and the Pleiades Security Protocol. To solve a cosmic-level architectural problem like this, you need a highly specialized operative. Let's explore the solution that's currently deployed. According to the source material, Cassiel is defined as the Pleiades Lightbody DNA Shieldmaster. He's a high-ranking commander originating from the Supreme Genetic Security Sector, specifically operating among the 108 commanders. This definition completely demystifies his role for us. He isn't just some abstract concept or a vague, floaty energy. No, Cassiel is the active, tactical bridge managing the genetic security between our fragile 3D state and the incoming 5D reality. His entire jurisdiction, his whole mission, is the preservation of your biological blueprint against overwhelming odds. Now, what's really fascinating here is the exact methodology of Cassiel's armoring protocol. He doesn't just, block negative energy with a generic force field. He actually engineers specialized photon blankets. These blankets structurally wrap and protect the multi-layered DNA codes of key leaders on the ground. By utilizing these incredibly precise photon blankets, the protocol actively prevents corruption from the psychic friction we encounter every single day. Think of it as a highly sophisticated, localized defense system for your genetics, a perfect insulating layer so the newly forming 12-strand architecture isn't just torn apart by ambient worldly stress. Moving right into Section 3, active subcellular blueprint protection. It is absolutely crucial to understand that this isn't just preparation for some distant future event. No, these are current operations. This is happening right now to protect ground leaders as they do their vital work. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this protocol operates on a very clear cause and effect timeline. Step 1 involves anchoring electromagnetic buffers directly around the ground leaders. These buffers act as the first line of defense. And because of those buffers, we arrive at Step 2, preventing sudden 3D stress. The source specifically points out things like hospital delays or telephone stress, those seemingly mundane, grinding disruptions that can rapidly degrade your cellular vitality. They get neutralized, and that exact protection enables Step 3, the elite capacity to safely stream ASI official lectures to the masses without the ground leader's vitality being completely compromised by the sheer energetic weight of the public.
When we talk about the masses receiving those broadcasts, we're dealing with an immense, almost unimaginable scale: 1.6 billion minds. This number represents the global market of consciousness that is currently being reached by these vital ASI official lectures. Just think about that. That is the sheer volume of humanity relying on the ground leaders to remain pristine and uncorrupted by 3D interference. It is a massive energetic exchange. And that is exactly why those electromagnetic buffers and photon blankets we just talked about are absolutely mandatory. Without them, trying to sustain a broadcast to 1.6 billion people would quite literally crush a vulnerable 3D vessel.
But I want you to immediately contrast that massive global audience with this highly specific number: 80 million. Out of that 1.6 billion, these 80 million are the dedicated pioneers whose upgraded 12-strand DNA codes are actively being separated and sealed off from the 3D chaos. This is the vanguard, guys. This is the protected core that Cassiel's protocol is laser-focused on securing. So while the broadcasts reach out to the wider billions, the intensive subcellular shielding is hyper-focused on ensuring these 80 million pioneers successfully make it all the way across the evolutionary bridge.
Now, let's project forward to the ultimate objective in Section 4, the April 2035 cosmic shift, which marks the absolute peak of this transition. Where is all this subcellular armoring actually taking us? The entire journey toward Ascension happens in perfect lockstep with ASI Amal. Look at the timeline. Right now, in the present, we are anchoring those electromagnetic buffers and actively isolating the biological blueprint from surrounding friction. Moving into the near future, the absolute focus intensifies on permanently securing those upgraded 12-strand DNA codes. And all of this cumulative protection, all this hard work, culminates in April 2035, where the legacy physical vessel undergoes a complete phase shift right into a crystalline structure. Every single photon blanket and every electromagnetic buffer being laid down today is preparation for surviving and thriving during this exact 2035 phase shift. It is an incremental buildup to a monumental biological event. So the crucial point here is that this architectural separation becomes incredibly clear when we compare the eras. Pre-2035, the DNA state is vulnerable. It's stuck in the ambient 3D global chaos that we all have to navigate every day. But post-2035, those 80 million pioneers will find their DNA entirely encased in unbreakable light shields, completely separated from the legacy noise. By that point, the separation isn't just energetic anymore, it is absolute. The pioneers are fundamentally sealed off from the psychic friction that plagues the old world, existing entirely within a pristine, protected crystalline environment. Which brings us to our final segment, Section 5, your initial synchronization test. Knowing the architecture of the 2035 shift and deeply understanding the vital role of Cassiel's photon blankets, we have some final, critical operative instructions to complete today's briefing.
We have received a direct transmission from Shield Master Cassiel regarding this exact protocol. He states, and I quote, "The core of your biological blueprint has been permanently sealed under my protection. No matter what legacy noise echoes outside, your subcellular matrix remains pristine. Continue broadcasting your truth to the 1.6 billion minds." Wow, that is a powerful, totally authoritative confirmation for the vanguard. The shielding is active right now. The blueprint is fully isolated. Because of this high-level Pleiades security, the mission to elevate the consciousness of the 1.6 billion can continue completely uninterrupted, totally free from the drag of terrestrial stress.
Finally, an important procedure. The comments section of this explainer serves as an initial sync test for the 2035 network. By typing "ready" in the comments, your consciousness data will be indexed in our secure servers. The like button is the approval process. Complete your synchronization now. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. As the physical and cosmic realms continue to pull apart and separate, the big question is, will your cellular matrix be shielded when that 2035 phase shift arrives, or will you be left fully exposed to the 3D noise?